What's up guys, it's Lauren and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I am going to be telling you guys the unsolved case of the icebox murders. So without further ado, let's get into the video. On June 23rd, 1965, a police captain and his partner pulled up alongside 1815 Driscoll Street. They were following up on a call from Marvin Martin, who had concerns about his aunt and uncle, Fred and Edwina Rogers. They wouldn't answer the phone and he hadn't heard from them in days. Since the couple was older, the police thought they were just doing a routine welfare check. Fred was 81, Edwina was 79, and they lived in a house with their adult son, Charles. However, most neighbors didn't even know that because Charles would normally leave before sunrise and he wouldn't get back until after sunset. And even though he was living with them, he had very little contact with his parents. They really only communicated from notes being slipped under his bedroom door in the attic. And things seemed off even before the officers entered the house. They weren't able to open the back door, and when they looked through the window, there were a bunch of flower pots stacked up against it. Once they eventually got inside the house, Charles Bullock, who was the captain, went to the upstairs area while his partner L.M. Barta went to the kitchen. It seemed the couple was not home. Charles was unable to remember why he opened the fridge in the first place, but when he did so, he found it full of what he thought was chopped up hog meat. Then he looked down at the vegetable drawer and found something even more shocking, and that was that of a woman's head. And then in the other bin was a man's head, and that is when the two called for backup. It was then confirmed that the fridge was not that of hog meat, it was the chopped up remains of Fred and Edwina. Their bodies had been carefully dismembered and packed into the fridge, and this showed that the killer clearly knew what he was doing and how to properly dismember bodies. The medical examiner on the case even said, whoever did this clearly took their time and knew what they were doing. According to the autopsies, they died on June 20th, which was Father's Day. Edwina had been shot in the head, and Fred was bludgeoned to death with a claw hammer. His eyes were also gouged out and his genitals were removed. The place was thoroughly cleaned as far as crime scene evidence goes, but there was one thing, which was there was blood found in the bathroom, and so this is why they think that the couple was butchered there. Now, there was one specific question asked. Where was Charles? Son Charles, not police officer Charles, if that makes sense. Other than the bathroom, there was also blood found in the keyhole of Charles's bedroom door. Police also found a handsaw in his room, and it did not take long for Charles to become the one and only suspect in this case. And that is when authorities launched a manhunt for him. He had served as a pilot in World War II, so they checked the records of airfields in the area to see if he left by plane, but there was no luck. There was never any trace of Charles found, and he was declared dead in 1975. This case is still unsolved to this day, hence the name of this video, the unsolved case. But like, you get the point. Many people have attempted to solve the mystery of this case and what happened to Charles. In the 1992 book, The Man on the Grassy Knoll by John R. Craig and Philip A. Rogers, a theory came about. They claimed Charles was a CIA agent involved in the assassination of John F. Kennedy less than 2 years before the murders. And supposedly his parents found his diary entries about his involvement, so he killed them. Another theory was in the book The Icebox Murders, published in 2003 by Hugh and Martha Gardner. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but they were a Houston couple that began investigating the murders in 1997. They say Charles murdered his parents after being emotionally and physically abused his entire life. and supposedly most of the abuse and more of the abuse came from Fred, hence why his murder was more gruesome and violent than Edwina's. They then hypothesized that Charles used his connections from the oil company he worked for 9 years, where he worked at the Shell Oil Company, and he used those connections to escape to Mexico. Now that is basically the end of this case. There's not much more to it, but I do have a 3.5-minute video. If you guys would like to watch that, I will insert it.
Martin, is there anything new in the murders from last night?
Nothing basically new, Bob, that we didn't have last night out at the scene. The men are continuing to work on this case at the scene, and we are beginning to get a little background information concerning the family.
Do you know much more than you did last night?
Some, Bob. The laboratory at this time are working on some instruments that they gathered at the house, which is a hammer, razor, saw, a few other items that they are checking for blood, hair, bone marrow, and so on and so forth.
You do want to talk to the son?
That is correct, Bob. We do know that the boy lived with his parents, and as of this minute, we have not been able to locate him, or neither do we know too much about him.
Is it possible that these murders were committed by the same person, or persons that committed the several torso killings that we've had lately?
It is possible, but not probable. The way or manner in which the torso cases, as you call them, and this particular case are very dissimilar in the manner in which they met their death.
So I just thought that was really interesting because it actually showed like kind of the crime scene and real life footage of it and interviewing the one cop. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you disliked it, give it a thumbs down. I don't really care. Subscribe if you're new. Comment down below videos you would like to see next. Let me know what you guys thought on this case, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!